Today I'm here to talk to you all about the great conjunction that's happening in Aquarius. And so in this post, I'll first talk about what is this great conjunction, why does it matter? And then I'll move into the symbolism behind Jupiter and Saturn. And then lastly, what does this mean for the coming year of 2021? So the Great Conjunction marks a time when Saturn, the planet Saturn, and Jupiter come together, they're conjunct. And so they're at the same degree in the sky. They're coming together at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which is very important for us. And it's important, this degree is important because of 3 reasons. So the first one is the symbolism behind 0. So 0 degrees, when there's anything happening there, it means a new beginning. It means we're planting a seed. Think of the energy of the new moon. That's very similar to 0 degrees. The second point is that it's happening during the winter solstice, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, the Capricorn solstice, which marks a paradigm shift. We're shifting seasons. We're entering a new space in time. And then third, why this is important is that it's also happening and it's marking a new 20-year cycle. So Saturn and Jupiter, they come together every 20 years. And so the last time they were together was in 2000 when they were in the constellation of Taurus. So maybe this is an important time for you to think back, where were you 20 years ago? And what are you completing from this cycle? There's probably something there that you're completing and now you're initiating something new that's more Aquarian, that's more humanitarian. Now, you've also probably heard that this is a new 200-year cycle as well. And it's a new 200-year cycle because we're shifting from Earth energy into air energy. So for the past 200 years, we had 20-year conjunctions in Earth signs, except for 1980, where we had a conjunction in Libra. Now, from now on, we're going to have many conjunctions of Saturn and Jupiter every 20 years in air signs. So clearly, we're moving from Earth energy into air, into communication, technology, collaboration, community, anything to do with our thoughts and our ideas. That's what air represents. And so this is a really big change in the energy that we're feeling and how we move and how we think about things and how do we, in our own beliefs. I've been talking a lot about beliefs as well. So now Saturn and Jupiter, what do they represent? Saturn is here around to show us responsibility, and Jupiter is here to help us expand. It brings abundance, it brings us vision. And so whenever I see those two together, they're social planets. And so I see them as teachers, as bridge makers between our own personal selves and who we are, how we create our own personalities, with the collective, with transpersonal energies that are generational energies. So I find that Jupiter and Saturn, when they're working together, they're really here to teach us about where do we want to go, but first we must have responsibility so that we can expand. And I think that's really the momentum here, because Saturn moved into Aquarius first, claiming that sense of responsibility. And it actually moved into Aquarius back in March, and so it stayed there April, May, and then June it started going retrograde back into Capricorn. And so I found it really interesting to look at Saturn during this time because it gave us a glimpse of where we were heading. And when Saturn moved into Aquarius, that's when all of our communications, all of our interactions went online. And so we were on Zoom, we were learning, we were connecting, even though it felt really constrictive, because Saturn can be quite constrictive, it was a new way of being. So we got a glimpse of that, of where we're heading. And now Jupiter is coming through in Aquarius, and it creates, I would say, this positive outlook, this visionary perspective, this abundant sense of being. And I think, with this great conjunction with both of them, it's looking at new ways where we can expand with this Aquarian vision, where we're not here to do things alone, but do things in a collective sense. Do things with a vision, a humanitarian vision. So I see those two coming together as a very important part of the way we communicate, the way we structure our beliefs, the way we see our society functioning. And because Aquarius is also connected to the internet, I see that here we're going to see a lot of enhancements around technology. And we're going to start to incorporate them more into our daily life. Yet at the same time, it comes a lot with a sense of responsibility, because Saturn's all about responsibility. And I think this time marks a new paradigm shift, a way for us to reconstruct our society and think about how are we all connected and how are we all communicating. I think that throughout the year we might also see a lot of changes within our financial structures. And so because of the interactions that Saturn and Jupiter will be having with Uranus. And so there is a lot of change to come still, and we're not going to see all of those changes when it's happening. I just feel that tomorrow marks the day where this energy begins to initiate. And so I feel that it's very important for us to really feel centered, feel aligned with our core sense of self, and really open up our sixth chakra, our visionary third eye, and think for ourselves, what do we envision in our futures? How do we find the truth within us? And what is that truth? Because it certainly has changed after 2020. And I want to leave you with an inspiration for you to have more room to breathe, because Aquarius is all about air. And I also remembered the serenity prayer that I think is connected to Aquarius, and I wrote it down. And it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Many blessings to you all.